I'm the General Manager of Convention Silk Enterprise, and we've been operating for almost 4 years. Kumuha kami ng mga viewers dito sa Gawad Kalinga Enchanted Farm to provide them livelihood through weaving. Napatrain namin sila through the partnership of Philippine Textile Research Institute. At mula noon, nagawa namin na mag-hobby ng iba't ibang designs. Dumating ang panahon na nagkaroon kami ng problema dahil kakaunti lamang ang nakaka-appreciate ng mga nagagawang tela ng mga weavers natin. Papasalamat kami dahil nakilala namin ang Bio Foundation. Marami ang nagbago Napaka-revolutionary ng aming ginagawa. Unang-una, ang ginagamit naming materials ay polyester. Ngunit tinuruan kami na gumamit ng ibang material na talagang sustainable. Ngayon, gumagamit kami ng cotton, tinuruan kami gumamit ng mga textile offcuts para magkaroon ng supplementary weft doon sa ating tela na ginagawa. Maraming natututunan ng aming weavers sa mga design, sa mga colors na nilalagay nila doon sa paghahabi. Talagang nag-evolve ang aming ginagawa dito sa paghahabi dahil nagkakaroon kami ng knowledge along the way habang kami ay nakikipag-collaborate with Bio Foundation. At isa pa, ang aming materials ay sigurado na ito ay local. Galing dito kay Habi na talaga namang kami ay sumusuporta sa prinsipyo ng sustainability. Dumating ang Bio Foundation, mas ramdam namin na kasama kami sa circle ng network na natutulungan nila. Mas ramdam namin na na-empower kami kasi na-witness namin na hard work, yung craftsmanship ng weaving ay talagang may potential. Nakikita namin yun doon sa mga produkto na ginagawa nila.
in its 37th year, the Metrobank Art and Design Excellence Recognition Program of the Metrobank Foundation continues to challenge young Filipino artists to tap into the expansive realm of creativity. We welcome you to the first online awarding ceremony and virtual exhibit opening of the Metrobank Art and Design Excellence on the occasion of the 59th anniversary of the Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company. Carrying the theme, Spectrum, the Art of Possibilities, this year's MADE awarding echoes how art shaped the way we experience the world during this time of crisis. At the height of the pandemic disruption in 2020, MADE rechanneled its programming to respond to the needs of the Philippine art scene. Through communal efforts of aid via the MADE Cares program, it was able to uphold its mission to society, to support arts and culture as the soul of the nation. Amidst the uncertainties, art and creativity emerged to provide digital platforms that transform the way we experience art. As we take MADE into the digital frontier, we hope to explore the endless possibilities of the artistic experience.
Bless me, give me strength. Give me courage so I can go on. I give myself to you. Let me be your instrument so I may share your message of hope and inspire those in need. Bless our land with your light. Bless us, Lord, with your love.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw. May dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim, lupa ng araw ng luwalhatit pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mang-aapi, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Here to officially welcome our guests and to deliver the opening remarks is Metrobank Foundation President, Mr. Aniceto M. Sobrepeña.
Our guest of honor, Congressman of the 4th District of Pangasinan, Honorable Christopher Toff de Venecia, esteemed jurors of the 2021 Metrobank Art and Design Excellence, Board of Trustees and Advisors of the Metrobank Foundation, colleagues from the Metrobank Group and GT Capital Holdings, institutional partners, 2021 MADE awardees, distinguished guests, those watching at home, good afternoon. Welcome to the awarding ceremonies of the Metrobank Art and Design Excellence. As one of the flagship programs of the Metrobank Foundation, MADE sustains its mission to provide an avenue for artistry to flourish and opportunities for creative geniuses to expand their practice. In 1984, the aspiration of our late founder and chairman, Dr. George SKT, an art patron himself, inspired the beginnings of MADE. Fast forward to the present, it continues to guide the undertakings of the Metrobank Foundation in recognizing local art exemplars and launching their works into more creative fronts. When our lives were suddenly disrupted by this pandemic, our competition was deferred last year. Now, as we are learning to live with the reality of COVID-19, we continue our mission to nurture the potential of young artists and enable them to express their voices freely, however restricted, in this new normal. We remained a supporter of local visual artists who were constrained by the challenges of these unusual times. We launched a cash assistance program dubbed as MADE Cares, which is short for MADE Community Aid and Relief for Emergency Situations. Over 200 artists benefited from our 1 million peso financial package. This year, the resumption of our program is anchored on a defiant hope that we shall carry on. Our team, Expectrum, is an ode to the infinite possibilities that can be imagined, aspired for, and made, such as this afternoon's virtual awarding ceremony. This is the first time in our 36-year history that we are not on an actual stage together with our judges and winners, nor with art enthusiasts sitting in the audience. Tapping the world of electronic media, this event is being mounted to adapt to current times, while still amplifying the reach of our artists' works across a wider audience. Bringing art to the broader public is a driving force of our #MadeAtHome digital art education program that can be accessed on our official Facebook page. We aim to provide inspiration for artists to keep working with their brushes and tools and bring their ideas to life amid our current times. This optimism also buoys us as we work towards building a future art depot that will house collections showcasing Filipinos' works of creative genius over the years. MADE truly goes beyond being a competition. It has evolved into a platform for discovery and dialogue among emerging and established artists. This year's MADE awardees dared to bear their thoughts and emotions and produce art that reflect our collective plight. Their works are direct responses to the crises and uncertainties that we face. The hundreds of entries submitted across the country are a testament to our local artists' passion to create. They convey visually the heartbeat of a people facing a global disease, the fears, the anger, the sadness and loss, but also the hope, the courage, and the tenacity to fight this enemy with kindness, generosity, and compassion. To our awardees and all those who participated in this year's competition, our warmest congratulations to all of you. We are also much grateful to our esteemed panel of judges and partners for their support in making this year's MADE happen. The visual arts in our country will continue to thrive because together we continue to believe in the creative expressions of our artists. Let us uphold the vibrancy of the local arts and let it serve as a source of hope and strength. Mabuhay ang sining Pilipino. Thank you.
Being a judge in the MADE Recognition Program is both a privilege and a responsibility. Each year, MADE brings together an esteemed panel of judges composed of respected practitioners in the field of visual arts, mentors in art education, and key players in the art scene, such as art critics, curators, and advocates. MADE's guiding principles center on inclusivity, equity, credibility, and the integrity of the individuals who make up the panel of judges. This year brings several innovations in implementing the nationwide program. Harnessing existing and emerging technologies, MADE was able to safeguard the integrity of the judging process and maintain the safety of everyone involved. Heading this year's Board of Judges is Abdulmari Toim Imao Jr., a celebrated sculptor, art educator, scenic designer, and human rights advocate. Toim has created numerous historical monuments and public art installations. His sculptures are found in major cities, both in the Philippines and abroad. Toim Imao leads the charge in judging the entries from this year's batch of young entrants.
The essential artist right now is able to confront and appropriate whatever available means of expression that their generation or era has to offer, and speak within these available platforms. Like right now, it's online platforms in order to be able to share the narratives they want to present to the public. Artists are given a very, very important gift, and when you're given a gift, you have to share it. Artists, through his work, should be allied with truth saying, truth telling. And that is why we function as we have a very important part in society in order to somehow embody the spirit of the times, the sentiments of the times.
Our next judge currently lives and works in Manila. Multimedia artist Mark Salvatos graduated cum laude from the University of Santo Tomas with a degree in advertising. He is a recipient of the 13 Artists Award from the Cultural Center of the Philippines in 2012 and the Ateneo Arts Award in 2010. He co-runs Load Na Dito projects, an artistic and research initiative based in Quezon City.
I was a finalist when I was in college for the MADE competition, and we think that this MADE is a competition, but it created a lot of friendships with other artists that I met. I think as an artist, the role is to be visible, and being visible is using the eyes, the vision, and it's the idea of connectivity, camaraderie, creating community, and the idea of imagination really is really important during this time.
Miss Josephine Turalba is an interdisciplinary artist based between Manila and Boston. Her works reflect on the politics of violence and the dynamics of infliction and trauma, depicting spaces where empathy translates into healing as she explores issues of divide and convergence within a volatile geopolitical world. She is currently a research fellow at the MIT Future Heritage Lab and serves as the Dean of the School of Fine Arts and Design at the Philippine Women's University.
MADE continues to allow exceptional talent to be recognized, and it inspires the others to aspire for recognition as well. It's an exceptional chance for artists to get validity in their work, which is something, as an artist, you yearn for, right? It also has an incredible impact on one's creative practice when you win.
Our next judge is a pioneering Filipino sculptor whose designs have catapulted him into the spotlight for his expert use of his chosen medium. He is none other than Mr. Daniel de la Cruz. Internationally, Daniel brought the Philippines honor and fame by winning the coveted gold medal for the Festival of Nativities in Rome, Italy in December 2008. He is currently the president of the Visual Arts Helping Hands Foundation, an organization that provides medical aid to Filipino visual artists in need.
What's most interesting for me is that the resilience and the ingenuity of the artists to still keep on continuing their work despite everything that's going on. For a period there was a long time where they couldn't get materials, they couldn't get things, but still the artists managed to pursue and actually submit a good number of entries.
Alongside artists are the art managers and cultural workers who highlight the importance of appreciating and understanding art and its relevance to our identity as Filipinos. Our next judge is Miss Geraldine Dindin B. Araneta, an esteemed art educator, gallerist, and a cultural organizer. She is also a co-founder of Philippine Art Events, which hosts the annual Art Fair Philippines and Art in the Park, successful ventures which bring together Philippine modern and contemporary art. She also serves as the head of the Committee on Visual Arts of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts.
What makes a good arts manager? I think it's really having that appreciation for artistic practice and works in process. Because an arts manager has to work very closely with the artists, but you cannot promote the work of an artist unless you understand what it is that they're doing. When I work with an artist, I always like to know what the idea is behind the work. I'm always curious to know why they painted that particular topic or scene, or what were they feeling at the time. I'm always curious to know what was going on in their minds. No? What were they reading? What are they watching? What are they doing? What is happening to them at that particular point in their life to make them create such a work?
Our next juror is Ms. Maria Rosario Rica Estrada, who is officer in charge of the Visual Arts and Museum Division of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Independently, she is the Vice President of the Association of Greater Manila Area Museums and co-founder of Visual Pond.
Something that people aren't very familiar with when it comes to curating is really resource gathering and sharing and archival work. And I think a lot of this part of curating was highlighted during this global pandemic. There's a lot of resource sharing that happened and a lot of archival work related to art and related to exhibitions. There's a lot of documentation of artists and their lives and the state that they're in, of the community.
Leo Abaya is part of this year's esteemed roster of judges. Abaya was one of the most distinguished contemporary artists and art educators in the country. He was a prominent professor in the College of Fine Arts of the University of Philippines Diliman and was an award-winning production designer for numerous films, including Jose Rizal, Muro Ami, and Cubrador. As an artist, he explored various disciplines that integrated collage, conceptual art, costumes, film, installation, literary art, painting, print, set design, and sculpture.
We have to accept the fact that most of the artworks that will be created and was created in the past year, and will be created in the years to come, will have to confront and address an online presence. And I think, the process of judging the works online first, among the judges, we had a really good process in doing that. We have to adapt these new modalities, new ways of doing.
It's hard to judge during this time, so we really need to see the original artwork. And then it's also nice that we talk to each other, the judges, and then we discuss, because through the idea of discussion and also exchanges, we kind of see how the artwork is really saying something. So I think this process can change how we maybe judge, how we see artwork. It's not an instant way, but a deliberate and slow and more caring looking at to the different artworks.
As a judge at the MAID competition, I looked for novelty, I looked for courage, I looked for innovation in the works. That's what I was watching out for. I was looking really for works that were brave. It takes some courage to create really evocative works.
I was really looking for something different. I was really looking for something that I haven't seen before. And I was really looking for something that's telling me something new or giving me information that I haven't had before.
One of the main things I always look for, aside from the technical aspects and the technical mastery, is really generally the uniqueness of the art that's presented. I start with the initial visual impact of each piece. Now, which one really connects with me visually? No, from there, I start looking more down into the technical details, into how they execute using the medium and the materials they use. Then I study the concept behind the work. So all of those things put together actually add up to come up with a very good piece.
I chose works based on what drew me to that specific work. Whether it was the composition or the color or the subject matter. Then I read the title to see what I felt intuitively relates to the title. And then I also try to look for work that is different, that is also pushing the boundaries in terms of how they express an idea or a concept. And then I also try to see whether if they were influenced by other artists of their generation or other artists whose work they can see through actual visits and galleries or maybe even through online.
Predominantly, most of the works were really expressing the artist's feelings and the realities of their daily lives. Whether that be inside, being secluded in a home, or going outside and seeing all sorts of difficulties that we have in our lives today. There's also a lot of pandemic imagery. So there's a lot of face masks, a lot of health workers, there are a lot of images of enclosed spaces and a general feeling of anxiety and stress and anguish.
The more common themes tackled were reflective of current events, such as the pandemic situation, both literally and imaginary, as a coping mechanism. They also had socioeconomic and political conditions of the country.
There's a great amount of craft that has been observed with most of the entries. I believe it's because the artists were able to fully commit to the art making amidst being cooped up in their individual homes and studios. I found great joy in discovering some of the entries that were, we consider visual gems because of their superb craft, and at the same time, they were working on very, very powerful narratives within their visual expression.
I think the visual arts, I think in the end, it's really the mediums are getting wider and wider. I believe we're passing the time when traditional medium of just oil or water media or sculpture are limited to those. Digital art is coming in quite heavily and quite strongly, so I believe it's just going to become wider and wider in terms of scope and in terms of mediums and materials, which I think this helps to make a more interesting and more vibrant art scene.
I think this started maybe about 5 years ago but it's going to be more prevalent now in the time of the pandemic, since people are really spending more time at home or in their studios and working in isolation. So for both the creation of new work and the promotion of work, the digital space has become very instrumental for visual artists.
I think as an artist, or the future of art is really creating more community. In the context of art, it's more to the idea of how we become sustainable together. How do we practice empathy by making an artwork? How do we see or share our resources with others? So it's not only about this creating artworks, but also creating a sense of sustainable ecology of art and also expanding it to the society.
Art competitions like MADE have a very important role in the art ecosystem. In my essay, I also made it a point to include not just the competition, but also all the other programs of the foundation that support and give opportunities for artists. I think that was very important, especially in the current situation now, where artists suddenly don't have the infrastructures or the systems that they would normally depend on to be able to make a living.
I wish there are more foundations like Metrobank that support the arts. When MADE puts this kind of competition, it supports the arts in a way that it pushes the industry forward. The art scene becomes livelier.
I am very excited. I mean, with the current crops of young artists trailblazing new ways of seeing and doing, we're looking into a bright future. And even though we may be in the darkest of times right now, I would often quote Bertolt Brecht, no? And I've seen these kinds of works in the artworks of the young people right now. Will there be singing in dark times? I believe yes. And Bertolt Brecht said that there will be singing, about dark times. So that is the important role that we have to fulfill. We need to sing about the dark times, and once we've conquered it, we have to sing about the victory and sing future narratives that are essential to be shared within a larger audience. And I think it's already a moral responsibility of every artist to respond to these times, being given a gift, a very powerful gift of imaging that can touch hearts, that can reach a wider audience, from the learned to the unlearned. We have a very powerful medium, and we should use it so that we can help our countrymen survive this pandemic, survive the kakistocracy that we have right now in our country.
Now that we've met our distinguished panel of judges, let us get to know the artists behind this year's winning categories, the 2021 Metrobank Art and Design Excellence Awardees. Out of the record-breaking number of entries, and despite facing such challenging situations, 8 artworks emerged as this year's best, each one a unique take on the gripping narratives born out of this unprecedented moment in history. Today marks a significant leap in the lives of the artist behind each masterpiece. We introduce to you the next generation of the Philippine visual art scene.
Kaya nandito po tayo ngayon sa lugar kung saan ginawa ko yung pyesa nung lockdown last year, kung saan po ako nakitira. Pakita ko po sa inyo.
Our grand awardee in the 2021 MADE Painting Recognition Program for Water Media on Paper is Limuel Aguilar Bautista for his artwork entitled The Haunting Wail of Chaos. Limuel's work is a striking commentary on the horrors and ills that plague the Filipino people. His work serves as a resounding call for awakening, especially of those who choose to turn a blind eye.
Ako po si Limuel Bautista. Ako po ay mula sa Kalumpit, Bulacan. Dati po, parang may initin yung ulo ko, magagalitin ako. Ang naging outlet ko doon yung pagpipintay. Mas nalalabas ko yung nararamdaman ko. Baga, gumagaan sa akin sa pakiramdam ko yung yung mga nangyayari. Yung tungkol naman po sa artwork na sinubmit ko, kumbaga, para po sa akin yun yung pagmumulat sa nakararami. Kasi, panahon po ngayon, mas sa tingin ko para sa akin, mas kailangan nating malaman kung ano yung talagang nangyayari. Parang nakakalimutan na natin kung sino yung dapat nating kalaban. Nasa isang bubong tayo lahat Dapat parang family tayo, tutulungan, hindi tayo dapat nagkakagatan. Kung paano ko naman po ginawa yun, siyempre nag-sketch po muna ako sa flat surface yung papel, na naka-stretch sa plywood. So ayun, pininta ko lang po siya ng flat na water-based yung gamit. Tapos after po nun, medyo sugal nga po yung ginawa ko kasi parang binasa ko yung pyesa ko ulit Kumbaga, binuhusan ko siya ng tubig para lumambot. Tapos after nun, inipit ko po siya sa dalawang corrugated na totoong yero po. Tapos, ayun na po, after niya matuyo, naka-form na siya na hugis bubong. Masaya po ako na nanalo ako kasi parang magiging magiging gasolina para mas magpursige pang magpinta. Siguro ang may advice ko lang sa mga bagong artist na sumasali ng competition, siguro huwag silang matakot mag-explore. Baka parang ginawa ko, sumugal talaga ako. Hindi ba ako talaga yung itsura ng pyesa ko? Parang huwag kayong matakot gumawa ng kakaiba.
The Special Citation Award for Water Media on Paper is given to Crispo D. Mantequilla's monochromatic depiction of the end of times, Lucas 21:11. Crispo's winning entry references the biblical verse that predicts great destruction to allude to the recent disasters that have fallen upon modern civilization.
Ito yung Lolo Market. Makikita dito sa Alcobar. Ito yung dinadaanan ko saka binibilan. Pagtapos nito, uwi na namang bahay. Saka luto, pahinga. Kape-kape, saka pinta-pinta na naman.
Ito po ay isang konsepto ng totoong buhay at ay dyan nangyari sa ating bansa. What I read in the Bible, it's what's happening today. Ang aking pyesa ay kinonceptualize ko nung times ng paglupok ng Bulkan Taal, year 2019. Mula doon ako nagkaroon ng idea. So, incorporate ko na lang lahat na nangyayari. Sa kasabay nun yung ating global crisis like pandemic. Additional doon yung mga nasusunog na mga kagubatan at mga pangyayari sa libutan ngayon. Pinakamalaking bagay na nagudyok sa akin dahil na personal ko, apektado po ako sa pangyayari ngayon. Ang pamilya ko po ay nagsasuffer din dahil sa ganon na pangyayari. Isa po sa mga inspiration ko pang sumali sa MAID ay ang aking pamilya po, ang aking asawa at anak. Dahil sa kanila, pinursigi ko itong makasali, hindi lamang po sa malaking kandipala, kundi upang ipakita sa buong mundo ang aking konsepto at kakayahan bilang isang Filipino, bilang artist at maka-inspire din sa mga young artists.
Even in darkness, there is light. And in the midst of crisis is the unwavering hope for a better tomorrow. This is the inspiring message of Between Heaven and Earth by Ariosto Dale C. Bagtas, this year's Grand Awardee for Oil or Acrylic on Canvas category.
Pasok po tayo sa studio namin. Dito po yung studio namin kasi po minsan po dito po pumupunta yung mga bisita para tumingin po ng beautiful namin. Nagsimula po yun na tinuturuan po ako ng aking daddy po, nung bata pa lang po ako. Bali, 4 years old po ako nung unang sumali sa competition po ng pangbata at nanalo po ako ng grand prize. Simula po noon, lagi na po akong sumasali sa iba't ibang competition. Yung akin po, more on abstract po. Ang sa akin po is abstract expressionism po. Kung ano po yung nararamdaman ko, kung happy po ako, dun po lumalabas yung artwork ko na ginagawa po. Yung between heaven and earth po, yun po yung interpretation ko po ng nangyayari po sa ating mundo. Yung mga dots po, yun po yung representation ko ng mga tao na nag-struggle po, kahirapan, gutom, lalo na po itong mga virus tulad po ng COVID-19. At dahil na rin po sa katanda ng ating mundo, sanhi po ng climate change. Pero sa paniniwala po natin sa may likha, lahat ng sufferings natin ay malalampasan basta po tayo maniniwala at hindi po tayo papabayaan. Sa art style ko po, ang acrylic po ang mahirap pong talaga magpatuyo. Kasi sa kapal po ng acrylic po na ginagamit ko, ilang araw po siya talaga kailangan patuyuin. Kailangan po din ng araw kasi pag walang araw po, matagal na matagal po siyang magpatuyo. Kaya ilang buwan at ilang linggo ko din pong binusisi po yung paggawa po ng texture po ng artwork ko po. Simula po akong sumali 2014 po eh. Sa loob po ng 7 years pong pagsali ko sa MAID, 3 beses po ako natalo, 3 beses din po ako naging semi-finalist. At sa huli po, nakamit ko rin po yung minimiti ko pong pangarap na manalo po sa MAID ng grand prize. Bilang isang artist po nais ko pong lumagana pa po lalo yung sining ng Pilipino sa ibang bansa. Hindi lamang po dito sa Pilipinas, kundi makilala po tayo sa buong mundo na ang Pilipinas po pala ay magaling sa art.
In the era of post-truth, how do you determine what remains true? Clark S. Manalo's uncensored fallacy of faith questions the authenticity of our beliefs and leaves us wondering about the value of faith in contemporary society. For this thought-provoking masterpiece, he receives the Special Citation Award for oil or acrylic on canvas.
I'm from TUP Manila and graduated as a Bachelor of Fine Arts, major in advertising. Galing sa advertising na more on computer, yung gamit, more on cameras, then transfer ako sa traditional way. As an artist, mas gusto ko na gumawa ng propaganda para ma-encourage yung ibang kabataan or ibang Pilipino na gumawa din ng art nila as an expression. Kasi common naman, nanonormalize dito sa Pilipinas na kapag pumasok ka sa fine arts, hobby lang yan, walang pera dyan, di ba? Pero, malaking bagay sa akin. Mas na-encourage akong ipagpatuloy yung field ko sa art na may gabay, saka may encouragement nung mother ko. Ang pinaka nag-influence sa akin dito sa Pilipinas, ginawa ko siya, yung piece na to, ginawa ko to para mapakita na kamusta yung faith ng isang tao. Na-excite ako kapag binubuo ko pa lang yung concept, then nag-shoot ako kasi mas nakikita ko dun yung yung galaw ng mga tao. 3 times akong sumali sa MAID. Then, noong 2018, nag-semi-finalist ako. Doon ako na-encourage na sabi ko, kaya palang mapansin yung works ko. Ayun yung gusto ko mangyari na mas magkaroon pa ng malawak na pananaw din yung society natin na yung work ng Pilipino, hindi lang siya basta-basta. Pagkus nagkakaroon siya ng conversation, nagkakaroon siya ng impact kapag nakita mo.
And last but not least is Mark Anthony P. Laza's powerful illustration of the loss of innocence and the coming of age in Binyag sa Landas Apoy. Drawing from his own experience, Mark skillfully captures man's symbolic metamorphosis, earning him the Special Citation Award for oil or acrylic on canvas.
Bilang artist po, pinipinta ko ang struggle ng mga karaniwang tao, ang mga pinaglalaban nila sa buhay. At ikinikwento ko o inilalathala ko sa aking mga piyesa ang nais nilang sabihin, nais nilang bigyang pansin. At naniniwala din kasi ang aking piyesa ay magmimistulang isang bintana upang maging portal sa pagpasa ng mensahe mula sa kanila, punta sa akin, punta sa mga maaaring mag-viewer ng aking mga gawa. Ang pagpipinta at ang design ay nagpapakita ng iisang hubog lamang. Ito ay pareho na nagkikwento. Parehong nagsasalaysay ng nagaganap ng panahon. At maaaring magsalaysay rin ng iyong komentaryo sa kung ano man yung nararanasan mo ngayon. Isa akong realist painter. So, mahalaga sa akin yung pagpipinta ng emosyon. Katulad din ng isang documentarist, mahalaga sa kanila ang pagpo-focus kung ano nga ba yung sitwasyon ng tao. Para sa akin, ang ideya ng Ganda sa Apoy ay ito ay ang pinakamahalagang yugto ng sakit, pait, na maaaring maranasan ng tao upang pumubog, upang pumandag sa kanya para sa kanyang kaganapan. Tila isa tayong matatag na talim na pinurno sa mapanupil na ako. Ito na mismo yung salamin ng ng kung ano yung nagaganap ngayon, kung ano yung nararanasan namin ngayon. Ito na mismo yun. Ito ang katotohanan. Kaya tumitindig siya sa ideya ng social realism. Ako bilang isang manggagawa ng sining, naniniwala ako na meron kaming responsibilidad na isalaysay ang nagaganap sa aming panahon. Siguro upang maging konsensya ng bayan, ilathala ang nararanasan natin ngayon, ang kasalukuyan, at magbigay batayan para sa hinaharap.
From the depiction of social realities on canvas, we now explore the complexities and dimensions of the human experience through this year's awardees for the MADE Sculpture Recognition Program. Rendered in varying media, this year's awardees confront the convoluted depth of human emotions. This year's Grand Awardee for Sculpture is a showcase of breathtaking skill and captivating vision. Kathleen Sarina D.C. Dagum's Bungkag speaks of systemic oppression and the struggle for freedom, eloquently told through the artist's chosen medium, wood.
Alam niyo po ba, yung trabaho na pinanggalingan ko ay isang trabaho na tumutulong sa mga mahihirap. Kasi NGO yon, nagsusupport sila sa mga farmers ng educational, livelihood, environmental din. Kasi nasa foothill siya ng Sierra Madre. Bali, parang doon ko na-experience yung parang sitwasyon na yung mga tao, kulang ng opportunity talaga. Baka yung artwork ko, maging venue siya para makilala ang sosyedad, ang totoong nangyayari sa sosyedad. Bali, ang aking piyesa na yung pamagat niya ay bungkag. Ibig sabihin nito, kung sa Tagalog pa yung ina-associate siya sa pagsabog, sa pagguho. Parang ganun yung association or yung meaning niya. Kung makikita niyo po sa aking gawa, parang yung mga tao nakaupo sa swing. Bale, para kasi yung mga tao na to nasa isang sistema, At yung sistema na yon ay yung monopoly. At meron lang mga specific na tao na binibigyan ng oportunidad. Daming proseso ito, yung pag-carve, yung pag-grind, yung pag-sand, yung pag-weld, yung pag-connect na. Bali, isa-isa ko silang ginawa. At meron pa akong isang nakakatuwang kwento kasi nga, nag-stop na ako ng work. Bumalik ako dito ng Mindanao. Nag-work kasi ako ng Manila. So, bumalik ako January. Nung doon pa lang, nagplano na akong sumali sa MAID eh. So, bumalik ako dito nung January, nasa isolation site ako. So, kailangan 14 days yun. So, inisip ko, hindi pwedeng stagnant, walang ginagawa. So, ginawa ko, nirequest ko yung mga kapatid ko, "Hoy, kunan niyo ako ng mahogani dun sa bahay natin. Maraming mahogani dun, di ba? Dalhan niyo ako dito." Yung piyasa ko sana, pa-enlighten or magpakita sa mga tao kung ano talaga ang present na nangyayari. Parang somehow to educate people and to inform them what is happening in the society. Yung vision ko talaga sa art scene, maturuan yung mga bata ng art, ng Philippine art, at mapalago ito.
Our first Special Citation Awardee for Sculpture explores the depth of the human psyche, expressing the subjective value of hopes and dreams. Through masterful use of technique and medium, Carlo P. de Laza's Isang Pangarap ang Managinip exposes humanity's relentless search for meaning.
Style ng sculptures ko, mostly a formalist style. Mostly figurative yung sinasculpt ko. Meron ako obsession with the form, the body, sa figures. Kasi para sa akin, lahat ng shapes nakukuha sa figures. Mostly yung practice ko, nakafocus siya sa sculpture. Siguro ang mensahe ng artwork ko na pamagat, isang pangarap ang managinip. Siguro ito samot-saring emosyon na naramdaman ko or samot-saring emosyon na naranasan ko during the lockdown. Dahil minsan iisipin na rin natin na mga pagkakataon na sa mga nangyayari sa panahon ngayon, kung ano pa yung gusto natin mangyari in the future, or kung may future pa tayo na gusto nating iasam-asam. Yung drive siguro, isa pang challenge na kailangan overcome, yung drive na paggawa. Lalo na sa panahon ngayon, sobrang depressing ng situation ng mga tao. Nakaka-apekto siya sa mental state ng tao, mental state ng artist. Yun yung isa sa mga nagbigay sa akin ng boost na makagawa ng artwork na para sa MAID. Nag-focus na lang muna ako sa art na para sa akin. Gusto ko nag-discover ng mga bagong mga bagay. At which yun yung nagtulak sa akin, umabot sa puntong ito. Ang art para sa akin, love-hate relationship. Love-hate relationship siguro art para sa akin. May mga times na mahal na mahal mo siya gusto mo yung ginagawa mo. Pero may mga times din na parang, ano ba to? Hate na hate ko yung ginagawa ko. Bakit ko ba ginagawa? Tuwid pa ako nagpapakahirap. May mga ganun din. Pero kapag tinignan mo uli yung ginagawa mo on a different perspective, or kailangan nagpahinga ka, or iniwan mo muna yung art mo sa tabi, tapos binalikan mo, doon nag-iiba din yung feeling mo sa tingin mo. Yung dating sa tingin mo na parang hate na hate mo yung ginagawa mo. Pagbalik mo parang okay naman pala yung ginagawa ko, parang kailangan mo lang ma-refresh minsan. So para sa akin yun nga art, sa love-hate relationship. Hindi rin siya pwede laging puro love lang. At di rin siya pwede dapat puro hate lang. Wishing na in the near future, masuportahan malala mga artists, yung welfare ng mga artists, lalo na yung mga karapatan ng mga artists, lalo na sa pag-resale ng mga trabaho nila, na makakuha ng percentage ng mga artists pag na-resale yung trabaho nila, or pati intellectual property din sa Pilipinas na mas mapaigtingin pa na for the benefit of the artist.
Rounding out this year's batch of award-winning works is Tyrone Dave E. Espinosa's Nakakabinging Katahimikan. Tyrone's winning work renders unto wood the horrors that silently plague many of us. Nakakabinging Katahimikan breaks the silence on issues surrounding mental health, highlighting the urgent need to take action against this other pandemic.
Simula po ako na sa karir ko bilang isang artist noong ako ay nasa kolehiyo. Ngunit yung pinanggalingan kong angkan ay mula sa angkan ng mga wood carvers na kung saan isa yon sa naging pundasyon ko sa pagiging isang visual artist sa ngayon. More in religious aspect yung mga ginagawa ko ngayon sa mga kaganapan na nangyayari sa ating paligid. Kaya isa yon sa mga naging transition yung imagery na ginagawa ko. Hindi na yung mga ornaments. Yung likha ko ay tumutukoy yon sa o nagpapahayag ng mga kaganapang nangyayari sa kasalukuyang panahon o sa mga wakas ng lupa. Isa sa halimbawa ay ang aking likha na nanalo sa MAID. Ito ay patungkol sa matinding depresyon na nararanasan ng tao, sanhi ng mga suliranin at mga problema sa buhay, hindi lamang dito sa bansang Pilipinas, kundi maging sa ibang panig pa ng daigdig. Ang nais kong ipahiwatig sa likha kong iyon na mararamdaman ng isang viewer yung sakit, yung masaktan ang ating puso to realize sa mga pangyayari sa ating paligid. Dahil para sa akin, di baling masaktan yung tao. Minsan, kailangan nating masaktan para maituwid natin yung ating mga pagkakamali. Ang isa sa nagudyok sa akin na patuloy ang pagsali sa patimpalak na ginagawa ng MAID ay ang pagbibigay nila ng mataas na pagpapakilala sa sining para sa mga natatanging adikhain ng mga artist din mismo para sa ating bayan. Bilang visual artist na Filipino, ang pagkakaisa, yun ang isa sa minimiti ko bilang isang artist na kahit man lang sa larangan ng sining ay magkaisa ang lahat ng mga Pilipino.
From reflections and statements on faith, solitude, discord, and the starkness of the human condition, these exemplary works depict how art transforms perplexities into pathways towards aesthetic breakthroughs. This year's works are a testament to the power of artistic expression and the limitless potential of young artists. May you continue to imagine, create, and inspire. Warm congratulations to the 2021 Metrobank Art and Design Excellence awardees. And now to lead our inspirational toast for the MAID winners and our panel of judges in this year's MAID Recognition Program is guest of honor, the representative of the 4th District of Pangasinan, the Honorable Christopher Toff de Venecia.
Good day to everyone. First and foremost, I would like to thank Aniceto Sobrepena, the Metrobank Foundation, Inc., for giving me this opportunity to speak. I am Congressman Toff de Venecia, and it is my distinct honor and pleasure to be the guest of honor on this significant occasion. I am the lead convener of the Arts and Culture and Creative Industries Block of the 18th Congress, or ACHIB, and I also serve as the chairperson of the Special Committee on Creative Industries and Performing Arts. For everyone's knowledge, ACHIB was an idea that was born out of the recognition that culture and the arts and the creative industries are important manifestations of our national identity, which must be protected and promoted. More than this, they are essential industries which have the potential to contribute greatly to the economy and to provide jobs to hundreds of thousands of Filipinos who choose to make a living out of their passion in life. Despite this potential, arts and culture and the creative industries have long been institutionally neglected in both policy making and execution. Most of our data regarding the creative industries are culled from international data gathering initiatives such as the latest UNCTAD reports, which shows a lack of institutional recognition and organization for this sector in our own country. A lot of our creative workers are freelancers who happen to be in a policy limbo because they are not covered by labor laws which only apply to those formally employed. In the area of cultural and heritage preservation, although we have laws that provide protection to our heritage and to promote cultural dissemination, we still see a lot of our cultural treasures, both tangible and intangible, being forgotten, neglected, or outright demolished. Not to mention that there is also a lack of a proper governance framework for our creative industries who have managed to thrive on their own with little to no government support. Clearly, there is a need to provide better protection to arts and culture as well as the creative industries, and thus our advocacy for the arts and culture. Our initiatives collaborating and working closely together with both the public and private sector has gained incredible momentum, such that the Special Committee for Creative Industry and Performing Arts has since been institutionalized to better service the sector through countless hearings and heeding the plight of our creatives. Although we have achieved a lot already, a lot more is left to be done. And there is so much left to learn and understand. A more in-depth understanding of the creative economy in particular will greatly benefit the sector as a whole, as this will give a clearer direction to the policies that we undertake through legislation. Culture and the arts have the power to change lives. At the moment, people enjoy having fun, being with other people, and expressing themselves creatively. Then there are the long-term impacts like shared memories, increased empathy, and a broader worldview. People who participate in culture and the arts are more likely to be in good health, go on to further education, volunteer, and donate to charity. The culture and the arts are also the way we tell our stories as a society. They're how we talk about what is important to us, how we view the world, and how we make sense of complicated issues. A visit to the National Museum or to any indigenous communities across the regions is enough to remind us that, long after our civilization has passed, what survives of us is our culture and our art. The exclusion of groups of people from the arts is therefore not just a problem for us now, but also persistent and enduring injustice that will echo down the ages. What people know of us in centuries to come will be dictated by who is telling our story now. Unfortunately, these benefits of the arts are not enjoyed equally. People from poorer backgrounds continue to be less likely to engage with the arts. If you are disabled, come from a lower socioeconomic group, don't own your own home, or don't have higher level qualifications, you are less likely to have participated in culture and the arts in the past months, especially during these trying times of COVID-19. It's therefore right that young people should be a target audience for arts engagement efforts to encourage a lifelong love of the culture and arts. These young people will be our future poets, sculptors, filmmakers, musicians, and many more. That is why the programs initiated by Metrobank Art and Design Excellence is truly a remarkable thing, as it gives a platform for our young creatives to develop their crafts. I am honored to lead the toast to this ceremonial exhibition opening that is indeed the hallmark of the recognition award for this year's painting and sculpture winners, and would be more than happy to be part in inspiring the viewers to experience a digital exhibition of this year's awardees and semi-finalists. In the uncertain times of the crisis, where all the familiar things have acquired a new meaning, this exhibition and program gave a unique opportunity for young artists to share their ideas and opinions, not only about the pandemic, but also regarding the shape of the future, introducing them as torchbearers for peace, resilience, and support. I toast to this wonderful event that makes us work together in giving our many creative industries the support and recognition these young creatives deserve. As I have mentioned in my plenary speech last week, a creative future should not be left to chance. It is planned, not dreamed. It is organized, not whimsical. It is taken seriously and not treated as an afterthought. After all, a creative future is safe, sustainable, and happy for all. Because truly, #the future is creative. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you and mabuhay to our guest of honor, Congressman Christopher De Venecia, the 2021 MADE Board of Judges, and the 2021 MADE awardees. Exhibitions have always been the rite of passage for young artists to break into the art scene. Every year, guests are treated to an array of exceptional artworks and talent through the exhibition of MADE semifinalists. This year, allow us to walk you through the digital experience of the 2021 MADE Virtual Exhibition. Navigating the digital realities of our present conditions prompted artists, creatives, and cultural institutions to innovate the way we experience art. MADE continues to provide a platform for young artists to showcase their masterpieces, transgressing the challenges and even capitalizing on the opportunities provided by the digital experience. The 2021 MADE Spectrum Digital Exhibition carves out a space for young talent to foster opportunities for growth and exposure. Here's Rica Estrada once more, 2021 MADE Judge and curator of the MADE Spectrum Exhibition, to tell us more about how the virtual exhibition was put together.
Having a virtual exhibit really allows for a broader audience, and it's so important to see the artworks in the space, in the room. The light of the room, the space, the walls, how big the walls are, how a work looks, the size of a work in a wall, how artworks, paintings look beside each other in a wall. And up to the very last minute, there will be changes because you see something in actuality and you want to change something, or you see something that will work better. And it's not as easy to do that in a virtual exhibit. But I think we are able to do it. The nice thing about the virtual exhibit or the platform that we used was you can have as many rooms as you want. And so space isn't limited in that sense. So I was able to spread out the works a bit more than if you would have had it in a normal exhibit. It was a very interesting experience curating a virtual exhibit. First of all, it's my first time to work with the people that made the technical team behind the virtual exhibit. So that was, one new thing.
Here's how to access the 2021 MADE Virtual Exhibit. Go to www.madeartdepot.ph and click on the Exhibition tab. Guests have the option to select between watching a guided tour of the exhibit or to self-navigate. Click on the photo of the artwork for more details. Special guests considering purchase of the artworks may access the virtual exhibit's microsite at www.madeartdepot.ph and log in using their registered email addresses. Click on the Collector's Lounge tab. Each collector may have 5 pieces reserved at a time. Lastly, take your time browsing through all the art pieces in the virtual exhibit and enjoy. Supporting creatives has always been at the core of MADE's mission. Aside from this year's competition, MADE is working with 2 premier advocacy partners to assist artists in the practice of their craft. MADE, in partnership with BIO and its foundation, is supporting sustainable livelihood programs for artisans of local weaving communities to ensure the continuity of a rich Filipino heritage. With the help of the master storytellers of Rank Magazine, the captivating stories of this year's awardees and their works find center stage to remind us that creativity can never be stifled. Thank you, BIO and Rank Magazine, for helping empower our creatives. We would also like to thank our media partners for supporting the promotion of Philippine contemporary art, Art Plus Magazine, the Philippine Star, the Manila Bulletin, Adobo Magazine, and the Philippine Daily Inquirer. With challenges old and new, the Philippine art community continues to pull through with collective initiatives and programs like MADE. Now more than ever, Creativity, artistry, and ingenuity serve as strong foundations that refine our human experience. We thank you for joining us in this awarding event, and we invite you to navigate the spectrum of possibilities in the art experience through the 2021 Made Spectrum Digital Exhibition.